Good morning. This video is to review the substitution method for solving a system of equations, a system of linear equations, I should say. Remember that a system of equations, this just means more than one, doesn't it? More than one equation. This is actually 7.2 in the book. So when you solve using the substitution method, now we're working, look at just at the substitution method. Your first step is to solve one of the equations, right? Solve one of the equations for one of the variables. That means in one of the equations, we're going to get one of the variables, doesn't matter which, all by itself. Make your life easier by choosing a variable that has a coefficient of 1 or -1. It'll be helpful so you don't have to work with fractions. And then you'll take that and substitute it into the second equation. So let's try it. I'm going to take this first equation right here, and I'm going to get x all by itself. All right? So here's the equation, x minus y equals 3. I'm going to add y to both sides. So I just solved and got x equals 3 plus y. Now, wherever x is in the second equation, I can substitute 3 plus y. Right? Wherever x is, 3 plus y is the same thing. So I'll substitute 3 plus y in there and finish the equation. Plus y equals 5. 3 plus 2y equals 5. I'll subtract 3. 2y equals 2. Divide by 2. Y equals 1. Now that I have y, I have one of the variables, I take it right back to the original equation that I solved for one of the variables, substitute y back in, and I get x equals 3 plus 1, x equals 4. So my answer should be 4, 1. Now I'm going to eyeball it in these equations and look up at my first equation is 4 minus 1 equals 3. That works. 4 plus 1 equals 5. That works. So 4, 1 is my solution. Remember, these solutions to a system of equations are a coordinate point where the lines intersect, right? Okay, let's try this second example. Now, I said to make your life easier when you're solving for one of the equations, pick one that has a coefficient of 1 or -1. So I'm going to start with the first equation, and I'm going to solve it for x, because that is a coefficient of 1 or -1, and it'll help me not have to work with fractions. So I'm going to subtract 2y over, and I get x. All by itself is 6 minus 2y. Now, anywhere there's x in that second equation, I can substitute in this. 6 minus 2y minus 3y equals 26. Let's distribute. 12 minus 4y minus 3y equals 26. 12 minus 7y equals 26. I'm going to subtract 12. Negative 7y equals 14. Y equals -2. Right? And then I said take this variable that you just got the answer for. Oops. Sorry about, I didn't want to do that. Take it right back. Right? Don't know what I did, but right back to here. And let's see. Sorry, folks. Right back to this equation, and if I plug in x equals -2, I'm sorry, y equals -2, I'm going to get x equals 2 minus 2 times -2. It's going to be 10, isn't it? Alright, so I'll take this and I'll plug it right back in here. X equals 6 minus 2 times -2. 6 plus 4 is 10. My answer should be 10, -2. Now I'm going to eyeball it here. I got 10 minus 4 equals 6. 20 plus 6 equals 26. That works. Oops, there we go. Whoop. this one already has some writing on it. Let's come here and try number 5. Remember, the process is solve one of the equations for one of the variables. Get it all by itself. And to make your life easier, choose a variable that has a coefficient of 1 or -1, right? Now, I'm going to start with this equation. I could solve for x or y here, couldn't I? I'm going to solve for x. So you could solve for either. They'll both work. Actually, you could solve for any of them. That'll all work. You'll just have to work with fractions if you choose something that has like a 3 in front of it. All right, so I have x all by itself. So that means in the second equation, anywhere there's x, I can substitute in 6 plus y. 3, 6 plus y equals -2. Let's distribute. 18 plus 3y plus y equals -2. 18 plus 4y equals -2. Let's subtract, 18. 4y equals -20. Y equals -5. So I have the y. Remember, go right back to this equation where you got one of the variables all by itself. Substitute that in. 6 plus y. X should be 1. Now that means our answer should be 1, -5. I'm going to check it up here. 1 minus a -5 indeed is 6. 3 times 1 minus 5 equals -2. That works. Okay? One more example of substitution. Solve for a variable in one of the equations, get it all by itself, and always try to go after something that has a coefficient of 1 or -1. That means I'm going to take, I don't know why it's doing that, I'm going to take this equation, I'm going to solve for x. So I'll subtract 4y over to the other side. X equals 5 minus 4y. Now, in the second equation, anywhere there's an x, I can substitute in 5 minus 4y. 3, 5 minus 4y equals 7. Let's distribute. 15 minus 12y minus 4y equals 7. 15 minus 16y equals 7. Now I'm going to subtract 15 from both sides. -16y equals -8. Y will equal 1 over 2. Well, I got y. Take it back to this equation right here, folks. And I'm going to come up top. X equals 5 minus 4. I'll substitute in the 1/2. 4 times 1/2 is 2. 5 minus 2 is 3. My point should be 3 1/2. So let me eyeball this. 9 minus 2 is 7. 3 plus 2 is 5. It works. Okay? So these were, I think we did 4 examples of substitution. Just follow the process. Try not to lose signs, and you should be okay. All right. Thanks, and good luck.